Senator Edwards made good on his word and vetoed the bill preventing transgender girls and women from competing on athletic teams or sporting events in schools. Now, he said this bill is discriminatory and was, quote, a solution in search of a problem, and that the author of the bill acknowledged there wasn't a single case where this was an issue. Adding, quote, it would make life more difficult for transgender children who are some of the most vulnerable Louisianians when it comes to issues of mental health. We should be looking for more ways to unite rather than divide our citizens. He also mentioned that events like the Final Four and professional championships won't happen with a bill like this. Now, this evening, we did hear from Senator Kirk Talbot out of Jefferson Parish. He voted in favor of that bill. Now, he said he's disappointed in Edwards' decision to veto it.
I think it's just a common sense approach. Now the LHSAA does have a policy against transgender athletes. They still can compete in the sex of their birth, but they can't transgender from male to female. So when the opposition says they're discriminated against and they have nowhere to play and compete, that's not true. It's about fairness. Title IX, women have come a long way to get equal footing and scholarships in sports, and I think this is just a step back.
And the author of the bill, Senator Beth Mizell of Franklinton, tells Eyewitness News the bill was created to protect women's athletics, adding without protection for biological women to compete with biological women, those opportunities can be lost. Mizell says she will seek a veto override vote.